Our episode starts with the usual voiceover from Victoria Winters that recaps what's happening up to this point. We then see the doctor giving Phyllis some meds as they are concerned for her well-being. She's currently in the past and speaking out about what she's seeing. That's when we see that she's at a funeral. There we see Josette freak out as they bury her love Jeremiah. Barnabas attempts to console her, but she tells him off, which makes sense considering he's the one that killed him. A carriage then comes with a man stating that he is there for the witch, in this case being Victoria, who is there from the future. Despite Barnabas' attempt to protect her, he's talked down and allowed the witch hunter to take her. Barnabas heads to the prison where Victoria is being held and lets her know her situation, which isn't good, but reassures her that the Collins family is behind her. Later at home, Barnabas is getting drunk when Angelique walks in. She tries to suck up to Barnabas now that Josette is out of the way, but it doesn't work as he tells her how disgusted he is by her and that he will never love another woman as long as Josette exists. She tells him he's going to be sorry. Side note, whether it's the original series or this one, or even the awful Tim Burton movie, not sure what his problem is with Angelique. As the viewer, we know Angelique is a nut job and a stage 5 clinger, but from Barnabas' standpoint, she's just a random, really sexy woman he had a one-night stand with who's constantly trying to remind him she's a much less high-maintenance option than the one he's chasing. If he was aware at this point that she was behind Josette's behavior, that would be one thing, but since he doesn't, that just makes him kind of a jerk. Anyway, we then see Angelique head to Jeremiah's room and find a handkerchief that belonged to him. She does some witchy mumbo-jumbo in her room, which looks like it brings Jeremiah back to life as a zombie. Back with Barnabas, the Countess tells him to be patient with Josette as she doesn't understand why Josette left him because she feels she still loves him, which he's happy to hear. We then see that indeed zombie Jeremiah is walking around as Angelique wills him to go to Josette. He grabs her, and as she screams, everyone goes to her just for them to be gone when they get there, with only her locket being left behind. Realizing that the locket was buried with Jeremiah, they question whether he was buried alive. The men are on the hunt for them while we hear Angelique telling Jeremiah to kill Josette. Josette comes to in time to start screaming again, which leads the guys to her. When Barnabas sees Jeremiah, he tries to reason with him. Jeremiah struggles with listening to Barnabas and the directions of Angelique, but eventually does the right thing, puts Josette down, and throws himself off a cliff. Once they all get back home, Angelique comes down and pretends to be concerned about Josette. Barnabas tells the Countess to watch Angelique and keep her away from the servants' quarters. Barnabas then heads upstairs and starts going through Angelique's things and finds her voodoo doll. He gets out just in time as Angelique gets back right after he leaves. We see Angelique in the mirror saying that next time Josette will not be so fortunate. Barnabas heads to Josette's room, but she still doesn't want to see him. He asks to see the Countess and shows her the voodoo doll. He gets mad at himself for not realizing how dangerous Angelique was sooner, which is a sound concept. The Countess tries to warn him that only Angelique can break the spell and she must be more powerful than they know, but he goes and bursts into her room and threatens her anyway. Angelique then does the obvious thing and basically says one of two things will happen. She dies loving him or lives loving his brother. And angry Barnabas then says he's going to let the authorities know that she is a witch, which makes her snap. She screams if she can't have him, no one can, and attempts to stab him, but he turns the blade on her. Before she dies, she curses him. We then see Josette wake up. The Countess tells Josette that she was under a curse from Angelique. Barnabas then comes in and lets them know what happened to Angelique. Josette asks Barnabas to forgive her, and of course, he's like there's nothing to forgive. Other than leaving him on their wedding night and making him angry enough to kill his own brother in a duel, but otherwise, all good. Back in 1991, Willie goes and gives Barnabas an update about Phyllis. Barnabas, who was having a snack on Caroline, who, by the way, is my choice of wanting to be a future vampire, had the show lasted beyond this season. Barnabas then tells Willie that the past has changed again via a new story in his journal. The Collins family then have a seance, asking the ghost of Sarah to try to swap Phyllis and Victoria. Sarah speaks through the seance and tells them something is trying to come back and they must stop it, followed by Julia writhing in pain and saying something is trying to get inside her. Elizabeth takes her to her room, and when she goes to the mirror, we see that she's been possessed by Angelique. Back in the 1700s, Peter comes in and saves Victoria from the creepy reverend, then tells her that if he is to defend her, she has to tell him the whole story. She missed the whole time travel thing. She then tells him to head to her room and find the history of the Collins family book that she brought with her for proof. She then warns him that if he can't use the book to help her, he can use it to save the family from the evil that's coming after them. We then see Barnabas and Ben burying Angelique and say some not nice things about her as kind of a reverse eulogy, including Ben spitting on her grave. After Barnabas goes back to tell the family that the deed is done, we see lightning hit the grave of Angelique, Jason Voorhees style. We then see Josette approach Barnabas. The two share a passionate kiss before Josette fangs out and bites Barnabas. She then turns into a bat and flies away, with the ghost of Angelique showing up and taking credit for the vampire. The real Josette, feeling something is wrong, then runs to and finds Barnabus. The episode ends with him telling her that he'll love her forever before dying. And this was a much better way to turn Barnabus than the original, which was just a bat attack under Angelique's control. It's just a shame we never got to see some of the other changes that would have come to pass on this version of the series. Thanks for watching. If you like these recaps, please leave a like and subscribe and hit the bell icon to know every time I update. There is now an option to be a channel member where you'll get access to exclusive recaps from late night vampire catalogs like Showtime, Cinemax After Dark, USA Up All Night, and much more. If you want to help my channel grow, please check out my Patreon, where members can get exclusive content that can't be uploaded on YouTube, along with download options. Link is in the description.